Howdy YouTube, this is Danny with Point3 Airsoft. Got a review slash gear review for you guys today. This here is my Echo 1 Troy MRF-C. Now, this one isn't exactly stock. I've done my own personal alterations to it, i.e. flash hider. I've got some rail covers here. I've got my own Magpul MBUS sights. I've got a Magpul MOE grip on it. But the gun, stock, comes out of the box. You get your own shorty foregrip. It's rubberized. It's a pretty decent build quality. In place of the Magpul sights, you're actually going to have Troy battle sights. And it comes with a different motor than what I have installed. Out of the box, it's shooting close to about 404 feet per second. That's what Airsoft GI chronoed mine at. However, after you use the gun for a while, the spring is going to get a little bit weaker. And the gun right now is averaging around 380 feet per second with 0.2 gram BBs. I only shoot 0.3s out of mine, hence 0.3 Airsoft. I find with the heaviest BB you get the most range, you get the less effect from outside elements, and it all around just makes your gun perform a lot better. A couple things about my gun, a little more detailed. The flash hider I have on here is a PTS flash hider. Unfortunately, trying to get my old flash hider off, I messed up the thread, so as you can see right here, I've got some pretty nice electrical tape on it, so you know, nice and flashy. Moving on, I've got the Magpul MOE hand grip. I feel like these are a little better. They conform better to my hand. I'm a Magpul fanboy, so of course I watch all the Chris Costa videos, and whenever I hold my airsoft gun, instead of, you know, traditional airsofters, they'll hold their gun like this, I get down on it, which is completely unnecessary. However, I find it to make me feel super cool whenever I'm out on the battlefield. Next thing about it, I've got a Gen 1 Magpul front MBUS sight in dark earth. Same thing. This is this is Gen 2, sorry, and this is a Gen 1. They don't really do much, seeing as how in airsoft I'm usually just kind of looking down the side of my gun. However, they do make it look pretty cool. I typically run my gun with a UTG red dot green dot sight. It's about 50 bucks on Airsoft GI or EVIC. Really nice red dot, typically used for real steel weapons. So you know that you're going to get a pretty decent build quality out of it. A little bit of internals or first impression. When I first got the gun, it was completely different to what I'm used to having. If you've seen it in my old videos, I used to have a JGM4S system, and then I had a GMP, which were pretty decent build quality guns. This one, in honest opinion, was kind of a step in the opposite direction. I was a little unimpressed when I first got it. It comes with a Crane stock battery, with the Crane stock on the gun. Of course, it comes with the Crane stock battery, which isn't bad. You know, most guns these days don't come with batteries. It comes with a 9.6 volt Crane stock. The gun doesn't get a very high rate of fire with that battery. It's only 1500 milliamps, so you don't get too terribly much bang for your buck out of that one. The motor in it isn't all too impressive. It's just a standard Echo 1 motor, and it comes with a 608 millimeter barrel. So the 608, you know, doesn't provide that much of accuracy. So the things that I've done to it, I put a JG Red motor in it. That was one of the first things I did. For my old gun, the JG Red motors are impeccable performance motors. They'll power through anything. They'll pull back even the strongest springs and give you an insane rate of fire if you're running an 11.1 LiPo, a 7.4 LiPo in there. Personally, I run a 7.4 LiPo battery in the gun. I find it gives me enough trigger response and enough rate of fire without sacrificing my trigger contacts. I don't have a MOSFET in my gun, although I someday plan to. I also have a Black Python Mad Bull 603 millimeter barrel in it, type bore. The Mad Bull 603 type bore barrel provides a little bit better accuracy than the stock barrel that comes with the gun. I changed out the hop-up nub in it as well. I trust the Shredder's concave spacer. It's different than your traditional nub. It's got a little concave on it that provides 2 points of contact on the BB whenever it's exiting the barrel, therefore it gives you more consistent shots. So that's pretty much the custom things I've done with my gun. I find it to be pretty effective. It's a little tighter fit, you know, so it makes rounding corners a lot easier. If you're interested in buying the Echo 1 MRF-C, it's not a bad for a starter gun. It's definitely good for a project gun. Getting to the gearbox is pretty easy. To get to the gearbox, all you have to do is punch out this pin right here, and the gun will pop open. And then the gearbox is held together with Torx screws, which are the star-shaped ones, so it's pretty easy. I'd be careful with these guns. Make sure, if you're a tech at all, I would take apart the gun and make sure that the shim job and the angle of engagement is done correctly. First time I had this gun, my first piston completely shattered and it snapped every single tooth off of my original piston. So that made my gun effectively go from about 400 feet per second to about 120 feet per second as each tooth kept continuously getting knocked off. If I were to rate the gun 1 out of 10, I'd give it maybe about a 6 out of 10. The build quality isn't exactly what I think it was. The plastic body, I'm familiar with good polymer bodies, and this one feels a little cheaper than what I usually get. The grip is a cheap plastic. The stock feels really nice. It's a little wobbly, but that's not a huge deal. It's airsoft. You don't really care about stock wobble. The rail system is impeccable. That's the best part about the entire gun out of the box. You get a Troy rail system. It comes with beautiful Troy trades right there on the side. You've also got the Troy trades on the plastic lower end of the body. But the Troy trades are what really set this rail system off. It's on all sides, on the bottom, top, left, right. It really makes the gun kind of give it that authentic look. It makes it feel good. It feels good in your hand. You touch that cold steel, and there's something about it. You gotta like it. A couple more things about the gun. The lower receiver of the gun is that imitates of an H&K gun, and if you're familiar, H&K is a competitor with Magpul. So unfortunately, if you've got any Magpul P-Mags, they are not going to fit in this gun. It takes standard magazines that look like this one here. It fits right in, no problems. It falls out too if you're in the middle of a game, you know, if you're the kind of guy that likes to drop a mag and then put a new one in. If you can look here on the body, it actually sits a little bit more straight than the traditional M4, which is typically angled, which allows for that Magpul P-Mag to fit in there. If you guys are interested in this gun, or anything else that you've seen on one of our Point3 Airsoft videos, you can always check us out on Facebook, Twitter, or subscribe and like our videos. Comment, tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone. Hell, we want to get Airsoft out there, and we want to show people how much fun it is to play.